Der BasketsTalk, die nächste Ausgabe der Saison 15-16 mit Silas und Silas, mit Xavier James Silas und dem Vater, dem ABA All-Star, dem Mann, dessen Jersey bei den San Antonio Spurs unter der Hand hängt, James Silas. Mr. Silas, welcome to Bonn. Silas Jr., welcome as well. To start things off, you've been here since the beginning of the week. Saw our game versus Oldenburg on Wednesday. First impressions, Mr. Silas. And second part of this question, has this been the first game you ever saw on German soil?
Yes, first game that I saw in Germany. From my arrival, I've been impressed. Like the city. So when I came to the arena to see the game, I was impressed how you guys had things set up. Small version of what we do in the NBA. I mean, the gym just smaller, but everything else was right on key. So I liked the way everything was set up and everything was done. But very impressed. Love the city.
That's great to hear. So talk about what you saw going down on the floor.
Well, both teams ran the offense very well. Both team was team-oriented. They showed a lot of support of each other, although they competing as on the team, for spots and time. They showed a lot of support as each other came off the floor and how they high-fived and how they try to talk to each other about what to do and not to do on the floor. So I was really impressed with that.
X, talk about maybe for me, as we talked about it on TV, was how key was sharing the minutes. In Oldenburg, they had 3 guys going for 30 plus minutes. With us, it was, I think, Jimmy, who had like 26. That was the most minutes played by any Bonn player. How key was it for you guys to share all those minutes? And how much was that by design?
I think that's completely by design. I think the coach really focuses on wanting to do that every game. I think his philosophy is if we can go deep at every position, we can beat a lot of teams because we're going to be stronger for longer. And so that's why we practice how we practice. We have 2 teams that could pretty much start in this league, I think, and we just practice on being able to play at that high intensity. Every wave, every time everyone comes in, we're all playing at the same high intensity.
How hard is it, or how easy is it to have that in mind as the game is going on? When you're, I don't know, like down by 7 or 8 midway through the game, and trying to have in mind, we gotta be patient, we gotta keep doing what we do and have that big rotation, and it'll turn out for good at the end.
I think that we just have to have faith in the work. We work really hard at it, and we know that we're a good team, and we know that people go on runs, and we'll go on our run eventually, and we'll be stronger at the end of the game because our rotation is so deep.
Yeah. When you see your son play out there, how much do you see yourself being out there? How similar is his game to yours?
A lot. He's bigger, but he's taller.
Bigger or really like
he's physically? He's taller. I was more.
Yeah, that's the hairline.
His range is further than mine. In my 10 years in the leagues, I never scored a 3-point shot, so he does it with ease. But a lot of similarity. The way he break people down off the dribble. He runs well. He jumps well. A lot. So when I see him, we put a lot of work into this for a lot of years, and so now I trust him. When he called me on the phone, I asked him a couple questions, and once he answered those questions, I don't try to break it down. Who did this? How many? Don't do that.
Yeah.
So, as long as you won and you did your part, you know you're doing your job. So, it's a lot of work we put in there, so I trust him now.
From what you've seen from your father, being as an active player, did you try to mold your game around his style of play, or how did that go all along?
I think it was more of just us being in the gym and him teaching me how to do certain things. That's probably what molded me to be like him more than anything. Not as much watching him, but just learning things from him and picking up on different things and how to do certain things. That's why I probably have a similar game to his.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, we had Patrick Ewing Jr. on our squad. Has only been for a couple of months, but great guy. Just didn't fit right, with the combination of players we had back then. But he always told us that he's been in the arena, in the gym, practice facilities with his dad almost every single day. He has been a ball boy for the Knicks. Has it been with you in the Spurs somewhat similar? Have you ever been a ball boy for your dad's club?
My dad's older than Patrick Ewing, so by the time I was coming up, he was retired, and he wasn't really involved as much on that level with the Spurs. We would go to games, and that was the era with David Robinson and Avery Johnson and the first championship that they won. So we would go to games and watch and, go to practices and stuff like that, but he wasn't playing, so the access was different.
Yeah. So what is your...
Well, the difference in Patrick era and his son era and Xavier and my era, we just got in the gym and I taught him things that I knew he would need. He wasn't like on a day-to-day basis. We was in the Spurs circle somewhat, but not like I was there playing and he could be in the gyms. So the thing that I gave him and shared with him, he picked it up and it looked so much like me doing it because he already, did a lot of things like I did. But like once I shared things with him, then that's when I saw how much he looked like things like me when I played. But we just in the gym and work hard. And he's a very hard worker. No one would ever outwork him. So I knew that. So I'm real comfortable where he is right now.
Is that something you always had in you, or was that something that you feel I had to learn, that to be a hard worker, to be willing to go to the gym and put up 100 or 200 or 300 shots, whatever?
I think I was always like that. I always wanted to do that and to outwork everyone else. I don't know where it came from. It probably came from him, but as long as I can remember, I've been like that with basketball.
What would you say is the most precious advice your dad ever gave you, basketball-wise? If you could nail it down to just one.
It's a whole lot of them, but one that comes to mind is just to have fun with it, to work hard, but always to have fun with it because it is a game and it's something that should be enjoyable, and that's the main thing. And so just always make sure that you're doing that with it.
Does the joy ever go away, or does it change once you drop out of college? Once you finish college and become a pro?
I think it's different.
Does that change?
It's different when you're making money. It does become a job for sure. It's a profession now, so it's different. But that's the balance that you have to find, is to find joy in job, and that's what everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Talk about the joy of finding together, of gelling together as a team during training camp and the early weeks of the season, in those that we are right now. How much fun is it to see all the pieces come together and
I think
hopefully fit together?
I think that we're finally trying to kind of seeing that right now. We had a lot of additions late, and even in the last few preseason games, we were kind of struggling getting the chemistry right and getting the rotations right and everything. And now we're kind of getting to a point where we're getting comfortable and we're winning. And so it's nice to see all that hard work kind of paying off at this point.
You've only been here for a couple days. You've seen one game. You saw one practice this morning, and we talked while those guys were working on the floor for about an hour. And I thought, man, this man has a great basketball mind. This man has a wonderful basketball understanding. What are the things that you saw from the outside looking at one single game, one single practice, where you would say, yeah, that's somewhat unique, somewhat special about that team, if there is something?
I think the plan is good. You have to continue to work at it and get it to where you're so comfortable with it that you makes it work. But the plan and what is going on is good. It's getting those 12, 13 guys to buy in, and everybody does it as well as they possibly can. You work on it every day, sometimes twice a day, until you really get it. And nothing changes it. Everybody goes out there and can do it. It's just like a machine. You fix it to where it's so oiled that you know it's going to work. Yeah. And right now, like you say, they're finding their way. I really see that both teams are really getting there. Defense really wins games, and as long as a person can focus on playing his defense like the coach trying to get them to play, talk, box out, just little bitty things, but they are close. They're there. Everybody seems to know their role, and that's key. That's key to playing a lot of people. You have to know your role and know what they're gonna get out of you, the time that they put you in the game. So once you're in there with your minutes, you got to know what you got to do. And I think I see that in that team, and I think they'll go a long ways if everybody stay focused and keep doing what they do and work hard.
Yeah. Talking about key factors, talking about being vocal, that's something your dad already touched. I remember talking to you, I think it was before the Kreuzheim game, where I said, X, I need you to be vocal out there, because we got so many, and it's not a bad thing, we got quite characters on that roster, which is okay, but we need somebody out there who's vocal. And you said, yeah, that's how I do. From your point of view, how key is this to have somebody on that squad, who's just out there talking, whether it's pre-game, post-game, or in the midst of timeouts? Talking about Munich, we're winning.
Yeah, I think it's just important to have a positive voice going on, to let guys know that everyone's on the same page, saying it just to say what everyone's thinking out loud, you know what I mean? If they might be afraid to say it, or they might not be thinking about it at that moment, I think it brings everybody together to say, we're gonna win this, or let's win this quarter, or let's win this half. And so that's something that I try to do. I try to bring in the huddles and make sure that we talk, because I think that gives us an edge over the opponent.
When you talk to the guys, is that something that you think about earlier for 5 to 10, 15 seconds and say, I gotta tell the guys this or that has to happen, or is that something that just goes whatever
both
crosses your mind?
I think both. I think sometimes there's something that I see that I want to talk about, and then there's some things that in the midst of the moment it just comes out, and you just got to say it at that moment. But I think it's important. I think that I've seen a lot of teams that win, and they're very vocal all the time. It's very vocal, always talking, and so that's something that I've learned growing up.
Any hesitation about being vocal for you because you're one of the new guys that came in this summer, or is that something where you'd say, hey, it's part of my game, like a regular jumper, like an outlet pass, it's part of my game?
Yeah, that's just how I am. That just in practice and everything, just talking and turning up the energy and the competition. I think that's important. I think practice and in the game, the factor of competing and really trying to win is important.
Yeah. So I'll bet €50 that you're a big Rasheed Wallace fan.
Yeah, I like Rasheed Wallace, but a lot. He was a little older.
Because we had certain situations where I thought, that's a little Rasheed Wallace moment out there, as far as going out and saying something that everybody's thinking, but they're not saying it.
Yeah.
Like that sequence we talked about in Munich that time.
Absolutely. And I think I've seen KG more than Rasheed Wallace. I grew up and I've seen him in playoff situations, and he's big on that. And I just picked that up from watching him. I think it's important.
Yeah. But there's a line. There's a line being vocal. How you like when I play, like I was the point guard, so the coach would give me 5 plays, and they might have all of them might have 3 options. So I always was a vocal person. And you got to know your teammates. Some people, you can be vocal with a certain way, and some you can't. So when you use your voice, you got to know when and how. Yeah. It's just not talk to be talking. It has a meaning, and it has to get to you. If you're not a vocal person, when I come to you, what I say has to go right to you right then. So it's not like I'm gonna get on you and fuss at you. Well, not like that, because you're not that kind of guy. Now he might be different. I might have to approach him different. Settle down, shut up and down. So it's the way you use it, and you don't talk just to be talking. You don't say things just to say them. There's a moment in time as a vocal person should speak and say things.
And the way it's been said, that's what we discussed earlier about just talking to each other, not just for me, just for you to hear it, but for you to understand it.
Absolutely.
That's what you're saying. How long does it take to figure out how every player's taking, how you got to approach certain people, especially at the beginning of the season, as the group comes together as a new collective?
I think it takes time, just like everything else, just like growing and understanding the plays and understanding how everyone plays. It comes with time, but you can't really put a time on it, time limit on it.
Put it down. Would you say you know how to address every single player on that Bonn team?
Yeah,
you already know?
I think, I mean, that's something that you can learn pretty early. As far as I've been here for about 6 weeks now. Going
6 to 8, yeah.
6 to 8 weeks now, and so in 2 months you can understand that,
But now it's key to what he said. He been here.
Yeah.
So it's important that most of these guys start together. So just say if he's a vocal leader and he came 10 games into the season, and they already been together. So that could be good or not good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the key thing was they started 8 weeks ago together. So now he knows them as they come through. He know how to adapt them, and he know almost what they're thinking, how they feel, and what they don't and what they do and they don't. So you picked it up every day in practice. You picked it up, and you know how far you can go with a guy. Hey, what's up, man? Some guy, you just give him time. He might not speak for a few days, but you got to know how to approach him. That's how he is.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with him. There's nothing about it. That's just how he is.
So touching on a totally different subject now is how much fun is playing 82 games a season? I mean, when we talk to the German media and German players, it's always like, yeah, the season is long. You got to play, international action as well, whether it's Euro Cup or Euro Challenge, whatever. And if you make the playoffs, you play until mid-May, end of May. If you're making it to the finals, till mid-June. But that's not what you guys played in the regular season.
But here how it is now. Xavier, he's young. It's all exciting because you end up.
But when you were playing the 82-game season, you were young as well.
Absolutely, and it was fun then. As you get older, you know how to cut corners. Like instead of running all around this table to get to where I need to get to, I just go through the middle of it. I'm gonna get there the same. But the little young guy, they want to go all the way around it. We learn how to cut corners, and they're gonna go to the end of this and turn. We're gonna cut across here. So we knows. So it's really not as bad as people think it is. Once you get it, and once it's in your system, and you've been doing it for years, it's not as bad as people think because your body been molded and trained to do it. That's what you do. That's why you are different. That's why you is this pro. They done broke your body down and built it to where that's what you do for a living. So it's not as hard as people think it is. Now, After them 10 years, 10 seasons, then to get the show, you got to know how to cut corners and do certain things.
I think the practice is a lot different too.
Oh yeah.
The practice is a lot of walkthroughs, a lot of shots. It's not practice how it is in Europe, where in the season you might have 2 practices a day. That would never happen in the NBA. Ever. So it's not even, there's not even really full practices during the season as far as scrimmaging and how we do here.
Right.
So that's the big difference. So the wear and tear in your body is kind of close because in Europe you're still playing, it's just in practice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same. That's probably why the European players say, it's a lot because they're still practicing too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's close. It's close, the amount of workload.
Absolutely.
And it always depends on how you're playing.
Oh, yeah.
The actual game.
Always.
I mean, if you play bad, it's always like, yeah, guys, you could have had an off day tomorrow, but in this case, let's meet at 9.
And in the NBA, you might have a game the next night, so the coach doesn't have time to practice you hard because you played bad. It's just move on to the next game.
I could imagine it's more the mental aspect is more important in the U.S. Maybe just a little bit because I mean I've seen pictures from I think it was the mid-90s Spurs that had a hotel lobby, all chairs and tables put aside, and they had taped an actual basketball court on the floor to just go through a couple plays.
Walk through some things,
How mentally tough or just exhausting is a season for both of you guys?
It's a business, man. It's an awesome business. It's $1 billion business, billions of dollar business. So, like when you look at, we talked today about media. When you talked about media here, and you said, well, you only have so many people. Like in the NBA, they might have 15 at a game, at one game. So everything is just magnified so big, so huge. So, and TV, now we got NBA TV, we got, any games can be seen anywhere, so it's a business. It's an awesome business. So you got to be, you got to be prepared at every stage and every level of the game, not just on the floor, but off the floor too. So you got to be focused. You play tonight, you get blown out by 30, you ain't got time to go tomorrow and practice about why you got blown out by 30 because you got to play them tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And you can't think about him after that night. You got another game the next night. So you have to know how to absorb it and let it go and move on. Did I miss the last shot of the game? Yeah. But tomorrow, that's yesterday.
There might be a last shot as well.
That's right.
I got a new chance.
So you can't go and say, well, oh man, I missed that last shot. Oh no. Wow. It goes on. And it's fast, it's furious, it's fast, it's huge. It's so huge that it's hard to keep up with. It's that huge. And when you're talking about billions of dollars business, you got to be ready. As a media and as a coach, you'll have no time for slip-ups. You have no time to say, oh, I made a mistake. It's that big.
Yeah.
It's that big. That big light is always on. Always.
Do you wish that sometimes we would have that fast-paced schedule, game after game after game, and not have to think about mistakes we made for a couple days after the Kreuzheim game?
Yeah, well, like
couple days between.
That's the difference between Europe and the NBA is in some situations you only have 4 games a month.
Yeah.
So, the pressure of those 4 games and the importance of those 4 games, it all comes down to that, 4 times a month for 40 minutes you have to perform, and you don't get, another chance the day after. It's so important for that game, for you to win, for you to perform well. So there's a different kind of pressure, there's a different kind of approach that you have to have because you have to perform well because you don't get that many chances in Europe sometimes. Even for us, we have 8 games a month, and that's still not even close to what they play in the States. So there has to be a certain kind of focus here as well, where you really have to be in tune and take those games seriously.
Are you somebody who's thinking about the games past very long, or is that something? Okay, I'm done with that already the next day.
It just depends on what we have coming up. You know what I mean? If you have a few days, it's kind of hard not to think about it. If you play Saturday and you don't play until Saturday again, and if you let it go on your day off, the coach is going to bring it back up when you're coming back into practice. So it's kind of tough to let it go. But with our schedule now, it's good because we don't really have time to get really high on a win or get really low on a loss. It's we stay kind of even in the middle and really just keep moving forward, and that's good for us.
A couple of years ago, I had a wonderful conversation, more or less conversation, with the now head coach from Frankfurt, Gordon Herbert, who told us they were on a winning streak. They had like 7 or 8 wins in a row. Came to Bonn, lost, and he was pissed. I mean, they played a bad game. He had all rights to be pissed. And afterwards, I asked him, Coach, when you're on a winning streak, nobody's asking what's going wrong. What are the little details? What are the little things you guys still got to work on? Because everybody just sees, hey, it's a W. Everything is fine. So with Bonn now having won 3 in a row, what are the top 1 or 2 things where you would say, yeah, those are the things we gotta work on. We gotta keep on working to still get better.
I think it's defense. We are still kind of missing our cues on defense, still kind of missing our communication on defense. Offense, I mean, we're scoring pretty easily. That's not a problem. But with the defense, I think that we just have to get on the same page, and we're getting there, we're getting better, but it's not quite right yet to be able to be comfortable with it. And I think that's the main thing. That, and then sometimes we're sometiming with the rebounds. Sometimes we let them get offensive rebounds and have trouble with rebounding. Sometimes we're really great. So we just have to get more consistent with that. But I think if we do those 2 things, we'll be fine.
Are we talking about defensive rotations, or?
I think it's every aspect. When we're good on rotations, then we're having trouble with one-on-one stuff. And when we're good on one-on-one stuff, then the rotations are off. So that's what I'm saying. We got to get it together to where we put the whole thing together and be good at it and feel consistent with it.
Yeah. Coming to a totally different subject now. When I introduced you, I said, this is the man who has his jersey up in the rafters. I don't know in what arena it's hanging right now. Is it in AT&T right now? Yeah. So they moved the jersey all the way from Hemisphere to the LMO to
wherever they go, it goes.
Wherever they go, it goes.
Let's go.
What does it feel like as a son to have a father who has his jersey retired? I mean, as I already said, once we had Ewing Jr. on our roster, his dad been a dream teamer, but we never got quite to the point where we could really talk about what it's like to be the father, the son of a father that big. So what does it feel like for you to have your dad's jersey retired, and when did you realize, hey, that's pretty special?
Yeah, honestly, when I was younger, I didn't really even understand what was going on. It really seems normal to me because I don't know anything different. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know what it's like not to have a dad that has so it's like it's the same thing for me. So it just feels normal for me, to be honest. And for a long time, I really didn't understand the significance of it until I got older and started realizing that not a lot of people, you know, at one point it was only 3 up there. You know what I mean?
It was you,
Iceman,
and Johnny Moore.
and Johnny Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Got played at YouTube.
And I think that even before, I think I remember when it was just him and Gervin up there. Mm-hmm. So it was just normal. You know, it wasn't like it was normal to go to the game and go in the locker room after the game. It was just how it was. So
it's like, see, the deal is, I'm the daddy every day.
Yeah.
But to other people on the outside, James Silas, can I get an autograph? Can I take a picture? It's not like that with him. You know, like, you know, we ever since I had him as a little boy, he'd on my hip. I was holding him, you know. So it's nothing to him, but it means a lot in the sports world. But to him,
yeah, not that much.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like it's a burden on your shoulder that you have to fill his big shoes?
Maybe when I was younger, probably that's what started the work ethic.
Come on, you're still young. You were born '88. Come on.
I don't think he should. No, it's not like that for him. But see, what he has to understand is, by me being me, he always the competition and people look at him. They're gonna look at him different. Some people gonna love him. Some people gonna hate on him because that's James Silas' son. So it's a lot of things he have to like look at from a broader picture. You know, so I see it totally different how he sees it. But I let him think and do what he wants to do in his thoughts. But because it's way bigger than what the question you asked him. It's way bigger than that.
Yeah. So what is it like for you?
I mean, like I said, when I was younger, I could see it more. Because growing up, and when we would go down and play in San Antonio, you could tell that it would be different, and people would, like our little AAU and summer basketball stuff, it would just be different, and we would have to compete harder in certain places because they didn't want us to win and stuff like that, because he was coaching and I was playing. But now, not so much at all.
I think it helps when you are, and I don't mean it in a negative way, I think it helps when you're playing in Europe and not in the US, because the ABA or NBA history
they don't
isn't that well known over here. Honestly, I had to think twice when I got to know, we signed your son. Our director of basketball came to me, wrote down, took a note, said Xavier Silas. I looked at the note and I was like, Javier Silas? We signed a Spanish guy? He was like, nah, he's a US boy. I'm like, Silas? And I'm like, Silas. Hey, give me a second, there was something. So I had to think twice because,
absolutely.
Not to be offensive, but your playing career is like 30 years ago. Way back. Way back. But it's been a long and prosperous career.
Oh yeah. What helps is, although I had a fabulous career, the Spurs have always stayed at the top. And so as they stay there, they keep us there. Little kids come up to me, can I get an autograph? I said, you don't know me. Well, my granddaddy told me to come get your autograph because you're important. I said, okay. But see, the Spurs have...
Do they still want autographs, or are they taking selfies nowadays?
Autograph and pictures.
Okay.
So, but what I'm saying is, the Spurs is such a unique, knit family. Like when I look at the team here, similar to the same. We was the only game in town. They love the basketball from the older guys to the younger guys. So now, the grandparents now got kids, they got kids, so it just rolls over. Yeah. It just rolls over, and it's a no lose situation with San Antonio. They done won 5 championships. So we there. They constantly introduce us. So it's just a great organization that I was fortunate enough to be associated with and did some great things with. So But it was a win-win for both of us.
You played in the ABA, played in the NBA.
Yes, sir.
2 All-Star games, ABA all rookie first team. If I got my research
Rookie
right.
of the year.
Rookie of the year as well. Jersey retired. Is there anything you'd say? Yeah, I'll let one slip away, or this one is missing on my resume?
When he come to the Spurs, I take my jersey down and let him use it. 13. He always wore 13. Other than that, I'm the most relaxed, comfortable guy after playing the game because I got all I wanted from it. I don't dream and wish I could play. You know, people come up to me all the time and say, ooh, man, if you was playing today, look at all this money they making. I never would want to do that for that reason. Because what I've done and how we did it, our way and I balance what they do today to me. What I have is forever. Can't change it. You know, it's in black and white. One incident is hangs up there. First one ever hangs there. So there's a lot of things that I got that I wouldn't want to go back and try to replace it or do nothing different. So I'm comfortable with where I am, you know. I live good, you know. Don't want for nothing. So he's healthy. He's doing what he do. He makes a living playing basketball. So all my kids do well. So I don't do that. I don't wish and think back if what did I leave on the table and nah.
Does it ever become normal to go to the arena and see your jersey?
I don't look for it.
You don't look for it? Okay.
Well, it's been hanging there since he was a little bitty boy.
Since '84. It says. That's what the internet says.
Yeah. So it was the first jersey. So when he was born, it's been hanging there
for 4 years
before he was even born. Yeah. So now people that I give tickets to, they'll go and look for it. But I don't really. Yeah. I know where it is. But you know, when I have a moment, I might look up there. But I don't go to the game and look at the jersey.
Yeah.
There's a lot of games I might go to, I never look up at the jersey. You know, how they got the thing, how the AT&T is set up, there's a lot of other things about me there on, in the case, jerseys, Dallas Chaparral jersey, the ABA, that's the team. So that jersey's in a case and just pictures. And so I don't go there, for that purpose.
Yeah. No, that wasn't the point that I wanted to make. Was just if you go to the arena and you see the jersey, do you take it for granted, or is it something you feel? No. Does it feel uncomfortable? Because one of the great Bonn players we had, Klaus Pervers, who's now the assistant coach in Frankfurt. You will soon see him when they stop by in November. There's a picture of him right there on the wall, and every time he comes to the arena, he's trying to avoid to look at it.
Really?
Yes, because I don't. He's a great guy. He's the hardest working German point guard I've ever met. But he's always taking a step back. He's always saying, "Hey, it's not about me. It's always been about the team. It's always been about the franchise." And all his players now, when they come to the arena, they're like, "Hey, Klaus, is that you up there?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Come on, guys, we got work to do.
That's what it's about. See, it's the others that's in the circle. It's not so much about me, because I know why it's there.
Yeah.
So, but it's the circle that you carry. Everybody always talks about, "Hey, man, can I take a picture? Can I get an autograph?" That's for them.
Yeah.
But man, I wouldn't take nothing for it. I mean, when they hung it, to be the first one and knew how the franchise started and where it was going and things we done, it's huge. I know it's huge, but I don't sit around and talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's awesome.
But at times it's always good to talk about it.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, it has its times. It has its times and moments.
Once you're done playing, and let's say 15, 20 years from now, What do you want to be remembered for? Probably, hopefully. Is that something you got on your mind, or is it, as of right now, I mean, being 27 now, just go out, play, have fun, hopefully win something?
I think it's important to stay in the moment and focus on what's going on now, but I just want to be remembered for being a good player and helping people, you know, being one of the people that was helped the others around them, you know what I mean? So that's really important to me, and I think if I can get that from basketball, then I did a pretty good job.
So looking forward, last question to close this one out. Coming back to, as you already touched, you know, staying in the moment. Staying in the moment is preparing for the upcoming game versus Bremerhaven, which is, as I already told your dad, is the only team in the BBL right now that we have a negative home record against.
Okay.
Whether it's Bamberg, where I think it's 19-17 or so, whether it's Berlin, we're 15-15, whether it's Munich, we're 3-1, because they've only been in the league, now it's their fifth year. But with Bremerhaven, we're 4 wins, 6 losses at home. You know, we gotta make that 5-6. So, what's key come Sunday?
I think just approaching it how we've been approaching these games. You know, I think we've been doing a good job. We've been working hard. We're getting better every practice. So it's nothing big that we need to do. I think if we all come out and do our jobs, we'll win the game.
How helpful is it to have all these people attending the game as the sixth man behind you guys? I mean, I remember you coming into the arena when we picked you up at the airport. After medical check, we came back for the photo shooting, and you were like, "Hey, here's my phone. You got to take a couple pictures for me." And your dad already told me, "Yeah, he sent you sent me this one where you were standing on the in the stands." How huge is it to have a great home crowd? How important is it? Question to both of you guys, as you've guys been playing for, as you've been playing for a couple of clubs, and you've been playing in front of crazy and crazy atmospheres on the road.
It means a lot. It means a lot. It makes you feel and know that you're doing something well. They're supporting you as a team. It helps because, like, you know, we've been in arenas where nobody was there. As a basketball player and as a sports figure, he wants to see his home support, and we've always had that in San Antonio in my years. You couldn't even get tickets, so it's huge to have that support and backing, to have your fans to come out and support you.
Yeah, I think it's really important. It's the most important thing when we play at home is the fans, and it gives us energy. It gives us an extra edge. I'm sure that it affects the other team just because of how loud and rowdy they get. So that's why we really enjoy playing at home, and we take pride in winning at home for our fans as well. So I think that it's a great thing.
Very last question. We talked about it earlier. The acceptance of being a vocal person, being outspoken, whether it's with teammates or coaches or maybe even fans. How long does it take from your point of view to take? How long does it take the fans to really understand you as a player? Because over the last couple of years, that's something I told your dad before, was we had a quiet group of guys. Nobody was that loud and outspoken. Now we have you on the roster, and that's something totally different, which is good, because as I told you before, is something that I think we need, which is key to our success. But how active from your side can you help people, and especially the fans, help those guys understand you as a person and as a player?
Like I said before, it takes time, and we haven't really played here a lot.
Yeah.
So it'll take time. But I think that it's always a good thing. I think fans like guys that are vocal in good situations, and I think that it'll all work out in a good way.
And that are able to knock down 4 out of 6 threes versus Munich. We like this one. Silas and Silas, thanks for stopping by.
It's a good name, huh? It's a good combo and a good name.
Yeah, I like that. Your son already told us that you guys want to do a couple camps over here.
That might work.
But you do that in the States in the summertime, right?
Oh, yeah. Camps are huge in America, big time.
Because you don't have the club system as it is in Europe. Right.
So they just come from all over.
So how many kids go there?
We usually have 100 a week.
Yeah.
100 in the session. Yeah. It's good. It's fun.
Do these kids know you?
Yeah. We have a lot of returners.
You know, as we said, I mean, your career is like 30 plus years ago. But
well, when we advertise and we put out our flyers, they'll go on the computers.
Yeah.
And either the dad's they'll know, the mom, somebody, uncle, somebody gonna know. Yeah. So it's real interesting, but it's fun, and we love it. We've had so many people to come back. Getting bigger every year. Absolutely. We have fun with it.
Bonus question for you, because that's something I put down and I almost forgot. Your career was pre-YouTube, pre-Instagram, pre-Facebook, Twitter, whatever. There's so few video footage from your career.
Right.
What sequence or what moment would have made a YouTube highlight from looking back at your career?
I have. You know, I've seen.
He's got a few.
All-Star.
No, he's got a few. I got none. How many do you have?
All-Star game we had. One of the playoffs games we had against the Washington Wizards Bullets at the time. So there's ones that they constantly play over on TV. But even so, in this era, I get cards every week. Pictures that like basketball cards.
Yeah.
Every week for somebody to sign and send it back to them. So. They catching up. They catching up.
But was there one single moment or single sequence where you'd say, "Damn, I wish that they would have that on YouTube"?
I think he had his nickname was Captain Late.
Can't do that.
Captain Leg?
Captain Late.
Captain Late.
Because they always gave him the ball at the end of the game to score the score the last point.
Absolutely.
So he would probably have a lot.
A lot of them.
So how many did you make? How many did you miss?
I made more than I missed. Absolutely.
That's better than MJ?
Oh, absolutely.
You missed more than he made. At least that's what he said in the commercial.
He couldn't close it like I could close it. No, I'm going to get it. I'm going to either score it or you're going to foul me or both. I'm going to go to the free throw line, but I'm going to close it.
So what was your go-to move? I mean, now we can say it.
It depends on the person. If you're bigger, I'm going to drive you hard and pull up on you. I might go by you. But I didn't always have to take the shot. Like 80% of the time I took the shot, but if I would beat you quick enough, he might get the shot. But everybody had to be ready. So he might get the 10-footer. But I'm going to take 80% of the shot. And they knew it. And if the guy was little, I just took him so close from hitting that wall and just jumped over and shot. They could never get to him. I always know how to keep that distance where he couldn't come quick enough. And I wouldn't make the move until it was time, time. I would never get the other team time to come back and score on us.
Yeah.
Either I'm going to win it,
or I'm going to lose. The good thing is you can't, can't think about it too much because next game is coming up.
No,
do you have a nickname?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
My name is it's a nickname already with the X in it.
Yeah. We already, we featured it on Twitter the other night versus Munich, whether it's, X marks the spot or X gonna give it to you. Or
absolutely. X.
So many things with X.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Your go-to move?
The same one, really. Same one.
It depends on the defender. You got some tall, slow people that think they can guard you, and you got to use your quickness and how to stop and throw them off and then go by them. Little guys, you just got to take them down. If nobody never come help us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's fun. Gentlemen, it's been fun to talk to you.
It's been good, man. I'm good. I'm glad I met you. It's been
See
good.
you Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sunday.
Absolutely. Hey, man. Have a blessed day.
You too, guys.
All right, buddy.
What?